Hey guys, I hope you guys are having a great day today. Today we're gonna play with some color theory things. So I posted a short and I also posted it on my Instagram stories and my TikTok. But basically the gist of it is I think I'm an olive undertone. Like now, the more that I look at it, I can really see like the green in my neck. And because of that, I realized that my foundations don't match me. Well, I knew my foundations didn't match me before, but now I understand why. So I have a couple foundations here that are too orange on me. Specifically, this is the Smashbox Halo Healthy Glow All-in-One Tinted Moisturizer with SPF 25. This is in the shade Light Medium. And this is the Rare Beauty Liquid Touch Foundation in the shade 260N. I am gonna try and mix some stuff into it to try and match me perfectly. When I posted this on my Instagram, someone suggested doing this, and so that's what I'm gonna do. I have two blue color corrector products right here. So this is the e.l.f. Camo color corrector in the shade blue. And this is the LA Girl Pro Color Foundation Mixing Pigment. These are both drugstore. I got both of these at Ulta, and they're both relatively affordable. I think the LA Girl one is around $9, and I think the e.l.f. one is around $4. Packaging wise, like the LA Girl is in much nicer packaging. It's like kind of a frosted glass bottle with the pump, and the e.l.f. is just a little plastic tube with a doe foot. Basically, I have this little clear acrylic thingy. I wouldn't necessarily call it a palette, but I'm going to put a little bit of my foundation on here and a little bit of the color correctors and see if I can find a shade that matches me perfectly. With that being said, if you're new here, hi, my name is Vivian. I'm a robotics engineer with a love for all things beauty and makeup related, and I'd love it if you liked and subscribed if you aren't already. I have a Project Pan series. I also recently started a No Palette Left Behind Project Pan, so if you're interested in that kind of content, be sure to like and subscribe. I'm also currently on a no-buy, minus these, because I think these count as makeup, but it's more color correctors, so I'm going to let myself off the hook for these two. Now, let's just hop into it. This first one is the e.l.f. Blue Color Corrector. I have swatched a little bit of this already. I want to see how pigmented it is and maybe try and figure out like how much of this I actually need. So I just did like a little dot there. And I'm also going to pump a little bit of the LA Girl one out. Right off the bat, you can tell that the LA Girl one is much thicker. This one is more of like a foundation consistency, which makes sense because I think this one is specifically meant to mix with your foundation, whereas the e.l.f. one is supposed to be more of like a color corrector if you have orange spots on your skin. They both look pretty blue, though I would say the e.l.f. one is a little bit more cool toned than the LA Girl one, but I'm going to just take a little bit of each and try and blend this out on the back of my hand just to see like how pigmented they are. So blend it out on the back of my hand. They actually both look pretty similar. The e.l.f. one I would say is a little bit lighter, and again the consistency is definitely different. The consistency of the LA Girl one is more of like a foundation-like consistency, whereas the e.l.f. one is a little bit lighter. Okay, I think I'm gonna go in with the LA Girl one just for the sake of this video. I am going to squeeze some of my Smashbox Tinted Moisturizer on there. I can swatch it against my face for you guys to see. You can tell that's definitely more orange than my natural skin tone. Like you can see like a stark difference. I'm actually gonna zoom you guys in. You can see that's definitely more orange than my natural skin tone. So to mix this, I don't know the best way to do this, but I am just gonna take a little bit of the LA Girl one at a time and kind of just mix it on this palette here. And you can already see it's definitely more of like a cooler toned color. I am gonna do another swatch for you guys. And you can already see that matches my neck so much better. I actually think that might have been the perfect amount. I'm not gonna lie to you. That matches my neck really, really well. I'm gonna put a little bit more just so you guys can see the actual like difference and not blend it out as much. So this is the Smashbox on its own. That is the mix with the LA Girl Pigment. This just kind of goes to show that, you know, if foundations don't match for you, there's like color theory things. I don't know the full extent of color theory, I'm not gonna lie to you, but there are ways for you to be able to find your perfect shade. I know it's annoying to have to mix things, like it is an extra step you have to do, but I think I'd rather do that than kind of get rid of things that are still good to use and it's less wasteful in my opinion. I am going to wipe this off. So I'm pretty much out of the Smashbox tinted Halo tinted moisturizer because I use a lot of it to color correct. So I'm gonna dip a little bit more in there. I'm gonna put some more color corrector in, and we're just gonna give this a big mix, and then I'm actually gonna put it all over my face for you guys to see. I think that's mixed in there pretty good, so I'm gonna start applying this to my face. And I'm just gonna use my sponge like I always do to blend that out. I think I actually did not put enough blue in there that time, so I'm gonna put a little bit more blue, just mixing on my palette here, and then using the leftover to go over the top of it. And I'm kind of just taking a little bit of the blue that's left over to mix with some of the areas that I haven't blended out yet. Now, I don't think that's perfect, but I think that's a much better match than it was before. I'm just gonna wipe off my palette here. Let me zoom you guys out so you guys can kind of see better. I probably shouldn't have worn a turtleneck or a mock neck-ish type thing for this video, but I think you can still see this is a much closer match to my neck than it was before, and I'm really glad that I know this method now. Like, I never really thought to use a color corrector, and I thought that I was just kind of stuck with my bases that didn't match me. So while it is an extra step, I think it's worth it to be able to get a closer match without having to like buy a new foundation in a different shade and things of that nature. I will try out the e.l.f. one soon. I just wanted the LA Girl one for this video. Regarding the LA Girl one, I did not notice any change of consistency to my foundation or anything like that, which is definitely a good sign. I think the finish of it still looks the same as well. It looks nice and glowy without being too glowy. I honestly think this is a really good method for me. I'm excited to keep trying that for sure. So I am going to finish up the rest of my makeup. I'll probably film it, but just kind of like speed through it really fast, and I'll come back to show you the final look and my thoughts, and kind of just talk about how olive skin tones aren't really represented in the beauty community. olive undertones are not super represented, especially in Asians. I feel like there aren't a ton of foundations or concealers on the market that are olive undertones. I've seen a couple. I know Rare Beauty has a shade that's olive, and I know that Dior has a couple shades that are olive undertones, but for the most part the standard is like warm, neutral, cool. And warm can either be like a yellow base or an orange based warm. I don't know exactly how cool undertones work, just because I never really thought about cool undertones because I'm not a cool undertone, you know? When I was first getting into makeup, every single article I read to try and figure out your undertone basically said if your veins are green, then you're a warm undertone, and if your veins are blue, you're like a cool undertone. I actually might be getting those mixed up, but I'm pretty sure that's how that works. But they never really mention olive, and they don't really mention anything besides warm, neutral, and cool. Because of that, I always thought I was a warm undertone, and especially because I'm Asian, I feel like the stereotype for Asians is that they're all like yellow undertones. While I do agree that I'm warm, I also think that I'm olive. When I shop for foundations, I pretty much always look for light, medium, warm. And I always thought that most of my foundations are very orange on me. I didn't know if that was just because I like was choosing wrong, or obviously I was choosing wrong. I didn't know if I was just like always just like choosing wrong, or if the brand just had really orange toned foundations. But I always thought my foundations looked a little bit off. I didn't necessarily want to like claim that brands were wrong, but I was also just really confused. So when I posted that short or TikTok or reel, or it wasn't a reel, it was on my Instagram stories, but when I posted that, I finally realized that, oh, maybe I am olive, and I just wish I had known that sooner. I think I could have saved myself a lot of like struggling, thinking, why is this foundation so orange? Because orange and blue are across from each other on the color wheel, these blue correctors are really great if you do find your foundation to be too orange, things like that. I'm basically glad I figured this out now. I'm glad that I have these to adjust my foundation however I need to in the future. I don't know, maybe I should have done more research. Maybe I should have like reevaluated my foundation skills when I thought they were just like too orange. So one thing I will also note is that even though I think I am an olive undertone, I do know that some golden tones work for me really well. Specifically, the LYS Triple Fix foundation in the shade MG2. I think that's a really, really good color match for me as well, even though it's more golden. And I think I do have that flexibility to be able to work with both. So I don't think I necessarily always have to buy olive undertones, but I think that I think brands should be more inclusive in general, but also inclusive towards olive undertones. I do think that the light olive undertone is like really missing in the market. I have yet to come across a foundation that is like a light olive, so if you do know, please let me know, or like leave it in the comments below. I am glad that I figured it out. I'm glad that I can like finally make foundations work for me and make them look more like my skin tone. I do know that there are a couple brands that are geared towards like Asian skin tones, specifically Orsay Cosmetics, which they did send me one of their foundation shades, and while it was too deep of a shade, like it was much tanner than I am, I thought the undertone was like spot on. That foundation is very expensive though. I don't know. I kind of just wish that I knew sooner. I wish that it was more shown like online when you're searching for undertones. I'm glad I know now. I'm glad I have the color correctors to try and fix foundations that are too orange for me and too warm, and I guess I'm kind of just glad that now I know that Asians can be olive in undertone. I know that I struggled a lot with finding my undertone, and I hope that this might help other people struggle to find, or might help other people find their undertone and find something that works for them. Obviously, I still have a lot of research to do. I still have a ton of things to look up. I feel like every single day I'm learning something new about makeup and color theory, and you know, it's a wild, wild world out there. I'm very much like a STEM major. I am not very art based. Like, I'm really good at replicating things, but I'm not creative in my own way. And I kind of just thought that like what I read online was truthful. And I think that while the online sources are really helpful for a certain demographic, I think that it's not 100% inclusive, and I would like to change that, or at least put this out there to help other people figure out what their undertone is and how to get things to work for them. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it's helpful to some of you, and if not, I hope you guys just kind of enjoyed watching things that are hopefully fun. I don't know. I will link these two correctors down below. Like I said, I got both of them at Ulta. The e.l.f. Camo color corrector is obviously supposed to be like a spot color corrector, and the LA Girl Pro Color Foundation Mixing Pigment is obviously supposed to be mixed in with your foundation, but I think both of the tones work really well, and they're almost identical in terms of color when you're blending them out. The e.l.f. one is a thinner consistency, and the price point is right for these two. I think LA Girl has more shades. Like, I think they have like a white shade and a dark shade, or a black shade, to try and change the depth of your undertone as well. And the e.l.f. color corrector has more color correcting shades, so like a green, peach, and an orange, and a yellow, I believe. So if you struggle to find your correct foundation shade, I think these might be worth it, or at least one of these might be worth it. Like I said, price point is good. This is like $9, this is like $6. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe if you aren't already. I post videos every Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern specifically. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!